I aim to motivate and inspire viewers to see the clothes they wear as an expression of their personality and their beliefs. This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 30 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I am your host. I only have a short introduction this week, only a little bit of knitting to share with you and some yarns to show you that look like little sweets in a sweet shop, and then we'll be straight on to Layercake. This week in the Layercake section I talk specifically about Layercake outfits that consist of more than one Layercake garment all in the same fabric. So that can be a plain fabric or a patterned one, but the idea is that all the garments are in one fabric only and showing you the effect that that creates. So before we go on to that, a little bit about knitting and yarn. Those of you who are subscribed to my newsletter will have seen last week that there are a couple of new colors that I've added to the collection of linen, Layercake Linen 3-ply. Ooh, it's staying in place. This is now the whole collection, 25 colors in total. They are available in 50-gram hanks and they all perfectly complement, of course, the Layercake fabrics, as well as things like the Layercake gradients that are hanging behind me on the wall. All color coordinated and also really interesting to knit together with a strand of wool or a strand of mohair for those of you who are that way inclined, or a strand of cumulus which has got the same running length as fiber space cumulus, that is. It's got the same running length as the linen, 600 meters per 100 grams, and it makes for a wonderful fabric. Cumulus is very airy, very similar actually to a silk mohair blend, but in the case of cumulus it is an alpaca and silk blend, the result of which makes a very lovely cloud-like yarn and a cloud-like fabric. And of course the linen, if you would add that to it, will give it a little bit more weight and possibly a mild color if you contrast the colors. Okay. Enough about the linen. I'm going to put this on the floor so that I don't end up whacking it when I get carried away showing you my knitting. I brought my other whips as well. I don't know why, because I haven't knitted on them at all. What I'm about to show you is my progress on the WestKnits Mystery Knit Along. I'm completely up to date. This morning, clue number 3 has come out, which is section 4 and 5 of the shawl. I have knitted the first 3 sections, so I'm completely up to speed and I can jump into section 4 tonight when I'm back home. I'm going to show you now where I got to with it. So, if you do not want to see this, if you want the knit along to remain a mystery for you for now, then I'll show to you right here at the bottom now how far you should jump ahead scroll ahead in this episode to make sure that you don't see the progress that I've made. For those of you who are keen, here it comes. If you remember me asking which color combination I should go for, it was a combination of these quite classic colors of a dark blue main color and then a creamy color called Bone, and let me show it to you here. So I forgot to say, the main color is in Yak Blend 2, which is a standard 4-ply for 400 meters per 100 grams. And then my complementary colors are all Soliloquy, which is 600 meters per 100 grams. But because of the structure that the main color gives you, there's no problem that there is a slight weight difference between the two. In fact, I really love the way the fabric is knitting up in my case. I'm using the standard needle size of 3.5 millimeter. I haven't gone down in needle size. I'm going with the 3.5 millimeter, and I'm a relatively loose knitter. In fact, before we go to the detail of this, I'll show you a little bit of how I knit. So many of you have asked me about my knitting, and this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see, maybe not the best angle that I filmed it in, but it's the best I could do with the setup that I have. But I have my right needle, my right hand needle, so the needle that the stitches go onto, propped up kind of against me. It's kind of resting in the knitting, but it's standing at an angle so that I can let go of it, because as you can see, I'm a thrower. So this allows me to make the main movements with my left hand rather than with my right hand. So I put the stitch onto my right needle rather than sticking my right needle into the stitch on the left hand. I move my left hand with the needle and put the stitch onto my right hand needle, if that makes sense. So back to the knitting. I was going through my colors. This is bone. Then I have contrast color number 2, which is called, I've forgotten what it's called, haven't I? I'll show you now in the down bar what it's called. Same with the third color. I think this was lichen. Oh goodness. Yeah, I throw myself into these things, you know, let me tell you what it's called, and I haven't actually prepared that at all, so I apologize. But those are the 3 complementary colors. And now for a bit of knitting show. The first section of the knit along, I'll try and keep my needles from slamming on the table. This is the first section, this triangle. Then we went to what was called, there we are, a bonus section, but it was really section number 2, which is this band of the main color and complementary color number 2. And it runs like a V shape around that first section. And then here it gets tricky because my needle, of course, isn't long enough to spread out all the knitting of section 3. So I'll just show you a little piece of it. Here it is. That is section 3. So it's got these bands, these stripes, and then with that lovely diamond shape over the top. So this is how they end up playing together so far. I understand that complementary color number 2 is going to play a big part in section number 5 of the shawl. I promise to keep going with this, so in the next episode, in 2 weeks, I'll show you how far I am then. I'm going to try and keep up, but of course it means that my other projects aren't getting any love again. So I'm so pleased though that for once I'm keeping up. So that's it. That's it for my knitting this week. One of the things that I'm going to show you as well moving forward, I just promised that yesterday or the day before when I'd shown on Instagram that I was dropping some stitching down a sock to retrospectively put in a cable. I'll show you next time how I do that. I'll find the time to film that up close and, you know, kind of from above, and then show you how I do that. But for now, this was it for the knitting this week, and we're on to Layercake to show you how outfits of more than one Layercake item in one color look together. Enjoy. We're going to try this again. Hello. Really? Can you believe this? Oh my gosh, this was so frustrating. It was the second time I was trying to record that first section of the podcast and I kept having problems. So I'm doing this now later on in the day with a voiceover because the machine is going in the background with Andrea sewing. And I'm starting this section showing you my big boots and my socks under my baggies and a dress. For the rest of the episode, I've got a little shoes on again, but when I re-recorded this, I was wearing my boots. I'm just showing you the outfit that I'm wearing today at the studio and about to change to the first monochrome outfit that is the theme of this week. Outfits that consist of more than one layer cake that are all made up out of one color. So you can see the difference that it makes to have the baggies in the same color as the dress that I'm wearing it with, and how you get a long, nice long and lean silhouette by elongating the one color all the way to the floor. We're about to go back to the live recording that I did this morning. It's closely cropped, but I promise not for long. So, apologies for the wrinkle. This has literally just come out of a stack of tabards. You know how we put the different layers, the different sizes on top of each other to be space effective at shows? That's how we keep them here at the studio as well. To try and keep as many garments in as many sizes as I can possibly afford in stock for you. And still it happens plenty often that if you order something, we have to make it especially for you. It's just because the range has gone so broad, especially with all the different colors that we do. So, my dress, the baggies, and a charcoal tabard. Doesn't it look great? And with these 3 layers underneath, this makes for a very, very warm outfit. Going into winter, layering up like this, you'll be very toasty. And it's not just the linen that does the work, but the air that gets trapped in between the layers. That's what keeps you so warm. Add a nice woolly scarf to this and you'll be toasty even into winter. If you're in a particularly cold climate or in a very cold house, then of course you can add a cardigan or a jumper to it. But just these 3 layers, I can feel myself warming up in here already while I'm filming. So, an example of everything color coordinated, everything in one color. And of course, instead of a long tabard, this could be a mini tabard. Would be just as effective, would still give me an extra layer on the top half. It just wouldn't go down as far. So that's the first one. Let me show you a variation on this theme. Still very neutral, but in a slight color. So hopefully I'm all back in the picture again. I think it was all a little bit too close up, so hopefully this is better. Just deleted a whole section that I filmed, so I'm refilming. This is the color I was talking about after the charcoal. The moth. See how very subtly softer it is than the charcoal in terms of color. And I can wear both colors, but some of you might find that charcoal is a bit dark for you, or you're used to wearing warmer colors. This is just slightly warmer than the charcoal. It's not as warm as a brown, for example, but it's slightly warmer and slightly softer, slightly more subtle still. Good combination, isn't it? Just full length again with the baggies, so it goes in the direction of the silhouette of a play suit, but you get the interaction between the top and the bottom part when you move, of course. And what I'll also show you is to replace this back with a charcoal top, so you can just see the difference in color between the two. And that's of course a good combination as well. Charcoal worn with moth is a nice and soft contrast, but you still keep that all over silhouette. Let me show you. This is what I mean. Charcoal with moth. Charcoal has a tiny little bit of a brownish tint in it as well. It's not a complete black and white charcoal. That's why it's called charcoal rather than dark grey, for example, because it's got a slight charred tint in it. Okay, so let's stick with the neutrals, but let's replace the baggies for a pair of high-lows. Let me see if I think I grabbed some of those. Here we go. High-lows. I've gone for the combination with a smock this time, not to just stick with the tabards. I know some of you absolutely adore your smocks, and this is a really nice way to get a little bit leggy with a smock without wearing anything tight on your legs, because with the smock being shorter in the front and longer down the sides, and then wearing trousers, that of course creates these vertical lines down in the center that creates a nice long or elongated silhouette. Now you can shorten this if you think, yeah, well, my legs are just not long enough to then create that effect of pillars underneath the smock. Then replace it with a mini tabard. Did I have one ready to show you? I don't think so, but I'm going to see if I can get to one. Just to show the difference in proportions, wearing it like this or like this. Don't have a mini tabard in the black gingham, but I do have a tail smock in the black gingham. Look at them together. See what I mean with the elongated silhouette that you get by wearing something short and cropped here. Now, of course you can say, yeah, well, but this doesn't cover my tummy. It doesn't cover mine either. And I would want to, because if I move around a lot, then maybe the top of the trousers will drop down a little bit. I will get very self-conscious about that. So yes, I would want a mini tabard in between if I would wear that outfit. So I can do that with a color that is a little bit different, but not too different. Pinstripe. Ta-da! Great tone on tone. A little bit of variation, but no great contrast. That nice long silhouette. Little flag to hide the tummy. Very effective, both with the tail smock and without. So, oh, one of my little flaps here is disintegrating. Too hasty putting the bow in when I started. Okay, let's stick with some more neutral still and a different look altogether. Some of the new neutral check. Neutral play suit. Longer length for me as I love it. And worn together with a Synergy duster. The long duster, but without the sleeves. So if you purchase this, you get it like this, sleeveless, with yarn to knit sleeves, just like you can do with the Synergy top. One of the advantages of this is that if we would make the dusters, the long dusters in this fabric with the sleeves in, the whole thing would end up being very heavy, and I don't like that feel for the fabric, but without the sleeves it's lovely. And with the hand knitted linen sleeves it would work as well, because that ends up being a lot lighter than the fabric. Same fabrics worn together, very effective. The alternative, of course, would be to wear the play suit with a dress in the new neutral check over the top, or a pair of baggies with a dress. That would all work very similar, but I wanted to show you the long lines of the play suit and the duster when they're made out of the same fabric, and a patterned fabric rather than just a solid or a cross weave. I love this actually. It's so simple and so sophisticated. Do you agree? Okay, enough of admiring my own outfit here. Let me show you some black. Before we go into color, let me show you some black as well, especially with the festive season already nearly upon us. I can't believe it. Thundering through autumn towards winter. And of course, I'm thinking, what better way if we all end up having Christmas and New Year's at home than to wear something that you're really comfortable in, but that you really feel good in as well. Right, bit of black. Baggies and a tabard. But how different does this look compared to some of those other combinations? Very simple, very understated, and just festive at the same time. Of course, you can dress this up or down. Just add a little something. I'll grab this one because I'll drop everything else if I do the others. Oh, do you see what I just did there? Oh, this is all, look at this, all, and it snows in October. Yeah, I wish. Well, it snows dust. It's incredible to stay on top, incredibly difficult to stay on top of the dust at the studio, because of course Andrew is making garments all the time, and it's not actually the sewing that generates the dust, it's the cutting. And with like the wool dress offer that we've just had on, she'll cut whole stacks of dresses at the same time, and the dust it generates is incredible. And we vacuum and vacuum, and there's still lots. It's within hours it builds up again. So Dust Bunny City is where I live. So you can make this longer and shorter, of course, you know, drama llama with the long, but the point was to just use something relatively simple. Keep the lines simple, keep the looks clean for a more sophisticated look. That's my kind of rule book. A really nice way to celebrate at home, very comfy. If you go to the kitchen and cook and splash like I do, no problem. Just chuck it in the wash and it'll all come out again. So it's an easy outfit and a comfy outfit. Right, enough of the neutrals and enough of talking about Christmas. Goodness me, I can't bear it. Bit of colour before we finish up. I'm always worried that I don't show enough of our gorgeous blue and black cross weave. So here is a play suit worn open. When you really get the accentuation of the bow shape at the bottom because of the zip being open, and then a smock over the top. Quickly unzipping your play suit is a wonderful way to stay cool. If you're overheating in your play suit, unzip it just for a couple of minutes, and the airflow of course stops that lovely insulation when it's closed, and you'll cool right down, I promise you. Great for in summer, but anytime really. If If you're my kind of age, that can strike at any time. Overheating, I mean. It always seems to happen when I'm getting ready to film. And then I get really, really warm. So I have to like dab my face and try not to smudge the mascara or the lipstick. And then, yes, I can finally start. Then once I start filming, it all calms down again. So then I can confidently zip up. Can I confidently zip up? Yes, I can. So that's it, zipped up, lovely blue with a same blue smock. However, it wouldn't be me if I drag a little bit of red in, would it? I don't know what it is with me in red. I've had it all my life. Drama queen. Though this is not without drama, of course, and it matches my eyes. I always get compliments when I wear blue, and I keep eyeing up the red in the meantime. So, blue cross weave. Let's put in some red. Well, at least I can laugh at myself. It's either laughing or crying, isn't it? Well, I choose laughing between the two. There we are, red. So another look and another silhouette, even more narrow, as if there's anything narrow about high-lows. Slightly more narrow than high-lows, and again, more of that pillar type look that I was describing before, that elongated silhouette. Here are the overalls in red with a mini tabard over the top for those of you who want that little security blanket like me. And then a tail smock. Actually, I'll show it without the mini tabard as well. But I'm interrupting my own train of thought. I wanted to show you this as a lovely festive outfit. Any of the bits can be changed for different colors, of course, but I wanted to keep it monochrome today. I'll take out the mini tabard just to show you how effective the combination of the high-waisted... Oh, actually, I can just fold it in, can't I? I was going to say how effective the high-waisted overalls are with a tail smock over the top, because what the tail smock does is it hangs like a little curtain here. Can you see that? And then the overalls kind of come in a little bit at your waist. So you get that lovely silhouette, a little bit of a curve, and then the curve of the tail smock over the top. Is my mini tabard hanging out? No, it's not. See that? And just having that, even if you say it from the side with my sticky out tummy, when it's all in one color like that, that elongated silhouette of the overalls really does its job in creating long lines rather than breaking up the lines and putting more emphasis on your tummy. I'll show this without the tail smock. So if I take the tail smock off, then you get that. Let me put this down. You get that effect of the nipping in of the overalls here as well, and then the playful little mini tab over the top. Long silhouette, emphasis on legs, 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 and those legs extend all the way to here on the side. So if you have garments like this, or you have something similar that you can play with at home, then try that out and see how it changes the way your silhouette looks. And the shape and size that my body is doesn't make any difference in the difference that it will make for you when you put outfits like this together. Even if your size and shape are completely different from mine, if you follow these kind of guidelines, you'll see the difference in the mirror, and you'll see how it affects your proportions and the overall look of your outfit. And if you have difficulty seeing that yourself and you have difficulty judging it yourself, do it with a friend or with a family member. If you can't get to your friends because of reasons we all know and won't mention, then doing this even on Zoom to have dress up sessions with friends is great fun. I've done it already, I have to admit. But with a family member, just as effective. Just ask their opinion. Like, do you like this? And then change the outfit, or do you like this? And get their feedback, see what they have to say about it. And as always, let me know. We'll go colourful again next time. I wanted to keep it monochrome this time around. Have fun with your layer cakes and ask me any questions if you've got any. I'll see you again soon.